here goes video number one. I'm going to reiterate everything that I wrote in the blog because reading's not for everybody. I know it's not for me. And this is not scripted, and I'm not trying to become a famous YouTuber, as you can tell by this quality, but I figure if I help one person, then I've done my job. So, just a rundown. Ethan and I, my boyfriend, tried out the paleo-ish diet for the month of March, and we were so successful that we're going to be carrying it out Monday through Friday going forward. We still love our donuts, and we love our chocolate and treats and pasta and bread, so I think we'll be living it up on the weekends, but it's been a great journey, so we're going to continue this going forward. So why did we do it? Well, I know for me, winter comes around, pack on a few pounds, you know, I'm hiding it under sweaters and hoodies, so for me it was kind of a way to get ready for the spring and summer season, start wearing tank tops again and dresses and whatnot. But also, the majority of the reason I wanted to do this was because of Ethan. He's self-diagnosed lactose intolerant, and this was kind of a way to pinpoint that allergy and see if eliminating dairy would decrease the amount of times he runs into digestive issues. And then the last reason I did this is because I actually live with chronic back pain. And my physical therapist told me my poor posture could potentially be from my body protecting my digestive organs and such. So I figured this could also possibly lead me to a solution to my back pain. So what is a paleo diet? It is basically, it's called the caveman diet. So you are only allowed to ingest things that a caveman could get his hands on. So you're sticking to vegetables, fruits, meat, and staying away from grains, dairy, legumes and beans, which I don't really get. I feel like a caveman could get his hands on them, but whatever, I just went with it. And nothing fake, nothing processed, no artificial sugar, so you're getting your sugar from fruits and honey and maple syrup, which again, how does a caveman get his hands on maple syrup? I don't know, but you can have it. And that kind of thing. I wrote that I'm going to let you guys Google and figure out what paleo really is, because there's a ton of sources on the internet that can explain it better than I can. As a disclaimer, I did not go to school for this. I'm an engineer by day, so I did not educate myself on nutrition and exercise other than what I've read on the internet. And as we all know, you can't believe everything you read on the internet, so I do try to be as accurate as possible and verify things, but you know, this is that disclaimer that if I say something that's potentially not 100% correct, that's why. Also, this isn't for everybody. I think that the paleo lifestyle is bad for people that have heart conditions and things like that, because it is a high protein diet. So I would not recommend doing this without talking to a doctor. I did not talk to a doctor. Ethan did not talk to a doctor, but we hope at 25 we don't have heart conditions. And lastly, your results are going to vary from person to person, just because my body packs on weight with the sugar and dairy and carb intake doesn't necessarily mean that somebody else might lose weight doing these things that I just did. I know that I did not lose any weight, zero whatsoever, but Ethan, on the other hand, has lost 25 pounds. Now, I'm female, and I already kind of had good eating habits. Ethan didn't. You know, but the visual results were enough for me to keep it going. I did lose some inches around my belly, so I think I didn't measure, but just looking at me, I think I lost some. And I have these newfounded cheekbones. Never had them in my life. but dimples kind of have something to do with that. But I noticed when I contour, it looks a lot nicer. So I know that it's definitely done something, and something that I've eliminated was packing the pounds onto my body. So things you should know if you're going to try the paleo diet is you should expect not to eat out. You can't verify that everything on the in something on a menu is going to be paleo or paleo friendly. Secondly, accountability is a huge part. I don't know how successful I would have been had I not had Ethan doing this all with me. It's easier to food prep for two people. It's easier when two people are sharing the responsibility of planning and chopping vegetables and things like that. And it's easier to hold each other accountable and make sure that the other person isn't slipping up. I know my office, there's a sweet in the kitchen every day, and that I think was the hardest part of the paleo diet, was saying no to the cookies in the break room, constant cookies in the break room. So that was pretty difficult. So accountability was a huge part. There's also a myth that the paleo diet is more expensive than regular meal prepping. I did not find that. I was meal prepping already, and I was spending $45 to $50 on breakfasts and lunches before the paleo diet. During the paleo diet, Ethan and I were spending about $130 to $150 a week for the two of us. So we were really only spending $30 more a week combined, so $15 a person more a week for these paleo items. Also, if you think about it, you're not going to be eating out, so you're saving money in that respect. So you kind of make up for the pricier items. Your almond flour, your raw honey, your pure maple syrup, those are all super expensive, but you're not eating out, so you're making up for it. You have to, I would say, to be successful, you have to like the staples of a paleo diet, which I have a coworker who was paleo for 6 months, and she hated the staples but somehow managed to have a paleo lifestyle. So I say that it might not be 100% true, but I do know a lot of our meals consisted of eggs, coconut oil or milk, almond flour, bananas, sweet potatoes. So if you don't like those items, it could definitely be more difficult to be successful with a paleo lifestyle. But it's definitely not impossible. Lastly, I would say that time is a huge factor in your success with this diet. You don't want to get bored of what you're eating, or you might only last a week. Oh, I just can't do the grilled chicken salads anymore. I definitely think that incorporating enough time to do this diet into your weekly schedule is important for you to not become bored. If you're only saying, okay, I'm just going to grill a bunch of chicken and have salads every day. I would probably spend about 1 to 2 hours planning out our meals every Sunday morning, and then venture off to the grocery store another hour. And then Ethan and I would come home, and for two of us to do all of our prepping, it would range between 3 to 6 hours. So it's a good day. At the same time, it's a trade-off because it's less time in the kitchen during the week. So you're getting all of that done ahead of time, which is kind of nice. You'll see that weeknights run a lot smoother. So it kind of balances out. Yeah, so as a summary, you definitely have to like coconut oil, almond flour. I would say you definitely need the time to do this, and it doesn't hurt to have a partner that you do it with. Looking back at it, one of the things I wish I did sooner was grabbed a couple of notebooks. You've probably seen me throw this around through my spiel here. I got a 4-pack of notebooks from Rite Aid for $4.99, and one was for my grocery lists. That way I'm not having floating pieces of paper everywhere. So I'm just keeping it all in one book. Another notebook was my food journal. So basically I started putting in my recipes and what I'm going to have for lunch and breakfast and a couple of dinners. So that way I could take notes on what worked, what didn't work, what was good, what wasn't so good. And then if we liked something, I could always pull it up and say, let's do this again. So I didn't do this from the beginning, and I wish I did, so that way, you know, I could go back to it. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of organization. I will definitely be sharing recipes and websites that came in handy along this process. I would like to dive into specific products. Actually, I think I have one. Oh, I do. Ethan loves Amazon. We've grown to really love Amazon. Amazon, you can get your almond flour and your coconut oil for a much better rate than you're going to get it from Hannaford. But this was one of his Amazon finds. Paleo snacks. They're mostly bananas. Banana's another staple. If you don't like bananas, that's going to be tough, because a lot of these paleo snacks that you'll find at Trader Joe's or in the gluten-free aisle at Hannaford will be bananas. And these were awesome for, you know, that salty craving you might have. You know, you want a potato chip or Cheez-Its or something. These were great. It's going to be backwards, but Bubba's Fine Foods snack mix, 100% paleo. So these saved my butt when I wanted, you know, that snack. 100% chocolate is another staple. So when I wanted something sweet, I would boil down 100% baking bars. I use Ghirardelli 100%. And then I would sweeten them up with some honey or maple syrup. Have it with a banana or something, because it is very bitter. So one thing about this diet is, you know, if you are a sweets person, you should get used to the taste of dark chocolate or 100% chocolate. It's a little bit of a transition. It's like coffee. It's an acquired taste. But once you break that boundary, it's so worth it, because you don't feel crappy about it. My favorite recipe of ours were paleo donuts, and I'll be posting that soon. That definitely helped my sweet cravings. I think that's it for the first talk that I wanted, everything that I wanted to say. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Oh, the one thing that I forgot to mention, Hooja Booja. It's the name of the site. Gotta give Ethan the credit for that. If you know Ethan, you know he's quite comical. Some things that come out of his mouth are out of left field, and that's one of them. So it's fun to say, and his family, it's become like a catchphrase, Hooja Booja. It's like our favorite word. So that's going to be our sign off. So again, let me know if you have any questions. Email is hoojaboojaAE@gmail.com. And again, I'm not doing this to get famous. I'm just trying to help. A bunch of people gave me feedback and wanted to know how I did this and what I did and what they should know if they were going to do the paleo diet. So I thought that if I help one person, I think I've done my job. So hopefully this helps. Hooja Booja.